Welcome to the first stop of our epic Italian road trip, the stunning Lago di Garda in northern Italy. Our adventure began in Bardolino, a charming little town. We thought we found a perfect spot to park, right next to the water, but there was one tiny oversight. We didn't realize we were sleeping under what felt like a stadium light. But hey, there's always a silver lining. I decided to start the day with a refreshing dip in the lake. Louis, on the other hand, Louis prefers to avoid the wake-up call from the lake, especially in the morning. He prefers a good cup of coffee. Our first morning in Italy called for a traditional Italian breakfast. No, it wasn't a cappuccino, at least not for us. Cappuccino is what Italians usually drink for breakfast, and only for breakfast. It's like an unspoken rule. We had piadina, caffè lunghi, and a corso. Traveling always includes some kind of adventure, right? So we decided to spice things up and do a 100 burpees a day challenge. Because who doesn't like burpees? A good morning routine is usually an important part of my day. Then we decided to take our bikes out for a tour. Originally, we planned to circle the lake, but after doing some research, let's just say it's not as picturesque as it sounds. So we opted for Plan B, a 50-kilometer bike ride with around 700 meters in elevation gain. It was a good mix of driving along the lake and then tour the steep roads with beautiful views of the lake. It turned out to be an incredible adventure, not only great as training, but also a sneak peek into what's in store for us next year. Crossing the Alps. Best part is the delicious food after a long bike ride and a good caffè lunghi. No camping video without a camper tour. After a relaxed mountain morning, we kicked off the day with the burpee challenge and a quick longboard tour. Surprisingly, a group of white horses decided to join our party. Later, we cruised back to the charming town of Recco. If you ever drove a car in Italy, you will not be surprised that those streets are always adventurous. Recco is located directly on the coast. It still has its own charm and is not as crowded as many other towns along the coast. Recco is known for its focaccia con il formaggio, an Italian, paper-thin flatbread stuffed with cheese. The rest of the day we spent on the beachfront, soaking in the Italian lifestyle and eating gelato. After a short half-hour drive, we arrived in Rapallo. Our well-placed campsite provided a perfect starting point for a 40-minute ferry ride to the iconic Portofino. Although it's a tourist hotspot, the charm is undeniable. We really enjoyed the scenic walk from Portofino to Santa Margherita. It wasn't crowded at all, and you passed beautiful bays which are perfect for a swim. Having already explored beautiful Cinque Terre last year, we decided to skip the coastal part and head towards Tuscany. We made a quick pit stop in Viareggio, but it didn't quite live up to our expectations. Despite its spacious beachfront, there wasn't much to see or do. To top it off, we had an unfortunate run-in with a break-in at our camper. Thankfully, our valuables were with us and the camper remained undamaged. Our next stop, Lucca, where we spent the whole day exploring the small Italian city. Here are my favorite 3 things to do in Lucca. Lucca is surrounded by its historic walls that now serve as a pedestrian promenade. You can rent various types of bikes to explore the 4-kilometer circuit around the old town. We decided us for a mix of a tandem bike and a rickshaw. It will cost you roughly €10 for an hour, and one lap around town takes between 20 to 30 minutes. Don't miss a visit to the Guinichi Tower. I'm not sure if this is the right pronunciation, but the tower is known for its iconic treetop terrace, offering a panoramic view of the entire city. Prepare yourself for a climb of 223 stairs to reach the top. One thing why I love to travel Italy is the amazing food. Lucca was no different. We had a very delicious pasta right outside of the old town for lunch, and an amazing filled bread for a quick dinner. Extra tip for all CrossFit athletes: only a short walk from the old town you will find CrossFit Lucca. If you're around, you can drop in for a training session. We now left the coast behind us and set our course deep into the heart of Tuscany, heading towards Val d'Orcia. With no fixed route in mind, the landscape is so breathtaking that simply driving along the picturesque roads is an adventure in itself. We stayed at various agriturismo for the night. An agriturismo is basically a farm that also provides accommodation, in our case a spot for camping, and sometimes food. In my opinion, they have a lot more charm than your typical large campgrounds, and they cost around 20 to 30 euro per night. The Val d'Orcia region is the quintessential postcard image of Tuscany that most people envision. The area is also known for its wines. You probably heard of Chianti and Montepulciano. In this picturesque region, you will find numerous charming old towns, each with its unique appeal. We strolled through the cobbled streets of San Quirico, d'Orcia, and the delightful town of Pienza. And for all your cheese lovers out there, Pienza is famous for its delicious pecorino cheese. We stayed for 3 nights and used the time to explore the area on our bikes.
Are you okay?
Our final Tuscany stop, Firenze. What did we do there? Well, let's just say the usual. Eating delicious food, drinking coffee, and soaking up the unique city vibe. We parked the camper a little bit outside at a safe park and ride parking lot and hopped on a tram to the heart of the city. We enjoyed a really good sandwich at Pino's, had a drink at a nice rooftop bar, and finished our day with a big portion of pasta and tiramisu. Speaking of Tuscany, we visited in mid-September, just as the tourist season was winding down. Yet, even then you can't help but notice that certain parts of Tuscany still draw quite a crowd. But hey, who can blame them? It's undeniably beautiful. After our stop in Firenze, we headed north, also leaving behind the warm weather of Tuscany. Our next adventure took us to the Trentino-Alto Adige region, where we endured 2 chilly nights at a 2,000-meter high parking lot with temperatures dropping to just 5 degrees. At Monte Bondone, we drove along the scenic routes famous for the Giro d'Italia. Our journey continued northward, taking us out of Italy for a week as we made our way to Austria for our own TDG training camp in Saalbach. The beauty of traveling in a camper is the ability to decide your next destination on a whim. So, we found ourselves back in the enchanting Dolomites, where we enjoyed 2 more days of hiking and exploring. The weather for beginning of October was just perfect.